Hello everyone. Welcome back to Sustainable Living with Shilpa Reddy, powered by planetgreen's farmnatura, a new beginning to your life. On this episode of Sustainkart One Sustainable Change, we will interact with the vibrant, relentless woman who walks the talk, fondly known as Worm Rani, Vani Murtigaru, who will talk about simple changes that each one of us could incorporate in our lifestyles. We hope to stand as a guide for those who chose to tune towards sustainable life choices. This episode is brought to you by Sustainkart. For yet another episode, we have Worm Rani Garu, who will share her knowledge. Welcome back, Vani Garu.
Thank you, Shilpa.
I have seen and learned so much from your kitchen. And I personally feel your kitchen is probably one of the most sustainable kitchens that I have seen. And you practice so many aspects of it. So today I want to talk about how to make your kitchen sustainable, what all practices you can bring in when you're cooking, when you're storing, the kind of cookware that we can use, the kind of ways that the kitchen creates, how interestingly or how creatively you can reuse them. So let's begin with cooking style. How to make cooking sustainable.
Kitchen is the heart of the home,
right?
And for every home, that's such a center. Your nourishment comes from the kitchen, the health of the family is in the kitchen. So in every way, I think there is scope to do so much in a kitchen when it comes to sustainability.
Correct.
For me, this journey has given me so much of understanding on what I can do, and the kind of people that are around me help me also to learn more and more on how I can up my game in my kitchen.
More.
So yes, so it's there is always something more that you can add.
Yes.
So since it is food, nourishment, the first thing is how are we going to provide safe and clean food for our family. So what I buy would be definitely everything that's grown naturally. So all the grains, the groceries, the vegetables, the fruits that I source are from farmers who still believe in natural methods of farming.
Wow.
That's number one. And the second thing is when you cook, using today with advertisements, put so much pressure on us to buy things that are quick to, non-stick and this and that, and we fell prey to it. And all that are absolutely toxic. So when you cook, what are the traditional, vessels that you can, or traditional ways people cooked in those days, like stoneware, a clay pot, or, cast iron, or iron tawa. So all these are some things that I have used constantly, and it has been so much fun to reintroduce them into my kitchen.
Right.
And every day it's such a pleasure to learn how to cook in them, how to maintain them, and I know ultimately what I am cooking is going to be safe for my family to eat.
Right.
Yes, and then when we cook, the leftovers that have come out right from the wash of water of your grains, whether it is your dals or your rice, can all go back into your garden. They are good. There's so much nourishment that it can take into your garden. And
instead
then
of draining the water,
instead of draining into the water, into wasting water that is washing your vegetables or your grains, whatever. So you can put it into your plants, and of course after we cook, all the leftover peels can go in for composting.
Right.
So you can see there are so many things that we can do in the kitchen itself to make sure that we are not adding burden to the planet by discarding things, or we are not putting pressure on our own systems to take in all the toxins that come through either pesticides and other ways of farming, or from cookware that are not safe for us.
Correct, yeah. But again, maintenance, I also heard that cast iron really doesn't need too much of washing. Is that right?
Yeah, because you need to maintain the seasoning in it. Okay. So I don't put any harsh things to wash. It's just a scrubber and water that needs to take away whatever is you have used it for something, like you have made a curry. Just take a scrubber. I use only natural scrubbers, like things that are loofah or something like that.
Coconut coil
loofahs, and I just clean it off, use water, because the minute you put any harsh cleaners, even if it is bioenzymes or natural cleaners, it takes away the seasoning, and food can get stick again and again. Or if you really needed to clean it, then you have to re-season it. Smear some oil so that you maintain that. That's all. You learn it over a period. Everything it teaches you. As you use, it teaches you. Yeah.
And also, when you say kitchen waste, it's really not waste, it's wealth, isn't it?
Absolutely.
Like if it goes back into the soil, it just becomes absolute wealth. But the same waste, if it's packed in a plastic bag, it's just, a waste of wealth.
Very true, very true. It's a huge resource that needs to go back where it belongs. And organic waste belongs to soil. It is the one that nourishes the soil. It increases the biodiversity in the soil.
Correct.
It keeps the soil alive, because millions of microorganisms, your earthworms, they make what soil is all about.
Absolutely.
Because that's where you grow your food. So we can see a direct closing the circle within your home, that you can, what would have otherwise landed up somewhere in a land dump, polluting the environment, not just the air with methane, it's the water, the leachate that gets into the water, and of the soil around that land dump, which gets contaminated. So we are in fact doing a great service to the ecosystem by holding a great resource and putting it back to where it belongs. So composting is a process of converting that into something that the plants can absorb, directly, and that's what you're feeding the soil, and the soil feeds the plant, and the plant in turn feeds us. So you can see the nutrient cycle stays right there.
So gratifying, actually. And why is that these kind of things are mostly driven by women, you think?
I don't know. Even as I started this journey, I saw my team is almost 90% women. SWMRT, the Solid Waste Management Roundtable. So I have no clue. I guess women are very nurturing by instinct, and it comes very easily for them to get driven by this. Absolutely. So they stay on top because of this. I feel
no,
that
right,
you care for your nature, not that men don't care for the planet or the ecosystem. Somewhere the passion to push it and get more people involved, I think that's where the instinct of a woman is very strong.
Right. And how to store food which is safe and also environmental friendly.
Right. So over a period of time, we all started using a lot of plastic.
Correct.
The Tupperwares came in. Okay, they may say it's food grade, it is whatever, BPA free, but still there's another chemical that replaces BPA or whatever that chemical is.
You will not say that out loud.
Yeah, so I don't know. So that is again being toxic, especially when you store food. People heat in microwaves in plastic, which is so, because it will leach, the chemicals will leach into your food. So for a long time now, I've stopped storing food in plastic. We use even takeaways to store our food in the fridge. So now it's just steel, glass, where what I store, and I don't store water also in plastic bottles. It's steel bottles, or all used, wine bottles, your whiskey bottles, whatever you have, store them in that, which is glass is much more, better than plastic, because even when you carry a plastic bottle in your car, you don't know if the heat in the car, or when you leave the car, when it's very hot outside, it could leach. The plastic could, the chemicals in the plastic could leach into your water also. So it's safer to take a steel or a copper or something like that.
Glass,
Okay.
And food wastage, I think we all cook, but then to monitor how much we are wasting, how do we avoid that?
Yeah, when you start looking at the need, we always try to cook a little more because we don't want it to fall short.
Correct.
But I think in today's world we need to eat less because there's too much, and there's so much of processed food and other ready-made food available that people just buy, put it in the fridge and forget about it, and you waste a lot of food. So if we move back to cooking fresh, cooking as much as we need, even if it is a little less, it's okay. You can grab a fruit later, but then I think that way we can reduce wastage, and also we can give it away. If there is leftover, you have more people at home and you've cooked enough and there is something left over, give it away when it's fresh. You know, your house helps could take it home. There will be watchmen who would be very happy to eat a specially cooked meal.
Right.
So I think we should gift it away or eat it the next day. Don't cook the next day.
Yeah.
Finish it off so that, you know, we try to avoid wastage by looking at it as a resource that has been, you know, grown by a farmer. Food is, you know, it comes from the soil. So much of water is being used and effort has been put. And wastage is something that is criminal.
Absolutely, that's the right word you used. Wastage is criminal. And even the organic waste that we, you know, have from the kitchen, there are few things that are extremely good for the plants. Instead of dumping it in the compost, you know, pit,
Yeah.
how can they be used separately and then later again put back into the compost pit?
Yes, yes, because I treat my what comes off my chopping board as a something very special platter, not just from my earthworms. There is my compost bins that need them, so it's like I'm feeding all of them, you know, like I feed my family. And also, banana peels can be soaked in water, maybe
Overnight?
for a couple of days or 3-4 days.
Okay.
You can put all your banana peels. You keep collecting the banana peels in a jar of water, and after 4 to 5 days, it's a good enzyme to be put into your garden. You know, it's good potassium, high potassium, especially when your plants are flowering, you can add it. And then the garlic and the onion peels can also be kept separately, and they can be soaked in water in 2-3 days. You know, it will seep well, and that can be used either in the soil or spray that water on your plant if there is you know, bugs or some pests.
Or more like a,
yeah,
you know,
you can use it as
fertilizer as well as a
it
pest
acts as a
control.
fertilizer as well as a pest control. So you can use multiple things. If you have lemon and orange peels, you can make bioenzymes.
I borrowed your idea of powdering eggshells.
Yes.
And use it on my plants. So
Yes,
thank you for that.
absolutely. You know, eggshells are a great source of calcium.
Right.
So you can independently do them or put them all together in a compost, and it will be a fully, you know, balanced compost that you can add to your plants.
Perfect. And you also said that you carried some turmeric for me, and you've
Yeah.
never really bought turmeric for the
Yes.
past, how many years was that?
Yes, 2-3 years I haven't, because I save some of the rhizomes and the mother rhizome, they will sprout at a particular time and then resow them. So I'm constantly growing turmeric every year after year.
Wow.
And it is so wonderful to grow something and, you know, make the turmeric. It's your homemade, and so I so happily like to, you know, share it with people.
I'm the blessed one. Thank you so much for all the inputs that you shared to make cooking sustainable. Thank you, Vani.
Thank you, Shilpa.
A big thank you to Vani Garu for taking out her precious time and making this episode possible for all of us. Please do subscribe to my channel. Stay tuned for more updates. See you all next week. Signing off, Shilpa Reddy.